Hello, hello, hello. It is time for Feature Friday. It is my absolute favorite day of the week. I am so excited to be here with you. I'm really hoping that you get an opportunity to ask some questions, that you take us up on this great knowledge base known as Julie. Julie is a green living coach, and I'm really excited and honored to be able to interview you today, Julie, because this is such a massively exploding space. And I'm so glad that we're getting the opportunity to talk today because I'm sure that you have some things that you are absolutely burning to let people know. I'm sure that as the space is growing, you have things that are happening. I'm sure you have ways to help people that you probably even see in this community some people might be struggling with. So I'm going to step aside now, Julie, and have you tell us all that makes you totally badass trailblazing leader. So tell us some about yourself.
I am 46. I worked in Western medicine for a very long time. And I saw there that people aren't getting the answers that they need for today's kind of lifestyles, like what's happening today. And science and technology hasn't caught up with the information that's out there, or the information hasn't caught up with science and technology. Let's put it that way. And there's just so much out there now that disrupts your life, or has the potential to, and people don't even know about it. They are just, pretty clueless, as far as why can't I lose weight? Why do I have anxiety? Why? And they'd be surprised to know that it's the stuff of everyday life that kind of gets to you and causes those disruptions. So, and there's lots you can do about it.
So you have lots of solutions, obviously. Tell us specifically what you do and how you work with clients.
Specifically what I do, I work with clients one-on-one mostly. I do teach group classes, but that's not as frequent. And I choose to go to the client's living space. First of all, that's of major importance, is to make sure you see all kinds of stuff on Facebook. You see all kinds of information out there. I prefer to see where they are and what they do on a day-to-day basis, and what kind of information they're taking in, first of all. And it's a huge lifestyle change. It's not just about one thing. It's about a lot of things. It's about the clutter in your home. Is that clutter in your mind? It's about the EMF that we have to deal with today, that our parents didn't have to deal with, our grandparents didn't have to deal with, the internet, the electricity, the phone lines, just everything. And there's stuff you can do to change. EMF gives off negative ions, and you can change that. You can't change the negative ions, but you can add positive ions to cancel them out, by doing things like diffusing essential oils, or just removing yourself from the EMF that it's putting off. I ask a lot of people to get rid of their microwave. I know that's like a huge stumbling block. Like everybody's like, I love my microwave. And I'm like, but your microwave might be killing you, and it is a huge lifestyle change. And a lot of people are like, oh, I just can't do that, So I like to meet people where they're at and make the changes that they can make. Your life can be improved, even if it's in little micro bits. You don't have to do big lifestyle changes. You can do little tiny ones along the way to getting there.
What about my salt rock? Is my salt rock helping me, or is that real, or is that just a marketing gimmick?
I don't think it's a marketing gimmick, personally. The Himalayan pink salt rocks, as long as the bulb inside is big enough to warm them so that they actually begin to melt, or technically it's decomposition, just means that their molecules are breaking apart and changing into other things. And as they go into your atmosphere, they provide positive ions, and they can actually clean the air. One of the simplest things to do that no one knows about is, I don't know if you know anything about English climbing ivy. It's very invasive when left to its own devices, but put in a pot in your house, it is an amazing air cleaner. Like,
wow.
clean pollutants and germs, and all you need is a tiny little pot of some English ivy.
Can I keep my microwave if I get the ivy?
Yes, you can keep your microwave as long as you promise me that when it's running, you're not standing in front of it.
Oh, yeah. I think I learned that back when I was like 15 or something like that, not to stand there and let it just basically nuke your brain cells, right? I mean, that's
right. Just I prefer you leave the room.
Okay.
You know, and then when it beeps, you can go back and get your whatever.
So let's talk about, hi, Mark. Mark's on the line, my husband. He said, we're getting some IBC. We don't talk, but we do Facebook chat. You know, I mean, we do communicate some way. Yeah. We were just talking earlier about how we hardly have conversations face to face. So it's a side story you guys might not have seen. So I love the ivy. I didn't really know about that. And I do feel good that you talked about the Himalayan salt rock, because I always wonder, I mean, we see so much, and that's why I'm so excited to have you on here, Julie, because we see so much in this space. What do we need? What don't we need? What really works? What doesn't? And you'll find evidence of whatever your stance is. If you're looking for something, you will find the evidence to support it on the internet. I mean, that's just where we are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Mark has a question for you. What other plants do you suggest? Not necessarily even just for cleaning the air, but maybe from a holistic or a green living approach. Are there certain plants that every household needs?
Every household needs, if you have plantain in your yard, and you can look it up, what does it look like? You know, what exactly does plantain? It doesn't look like a banana plant, which is kind of what you'd think. Because people eat plantain. It's more like a weed, actually. If you have it in your yard, please cultivate it in your yard. You don't need to bring it in, but that is the best for bug bites, scrapes, bumps, bruises. You just grab a couple leaves. Most people nowadays don't want to chew it up, you know, so just mash it to let the oils out, you know, and then put it on whatever, your scrapes, your bug bites.
So I live in Florida and we have a ton of aloe here. Is aloe not as good as plantain? Because some of the things that you're saying, I use my aloe for.
Aloe's wonderful too, and it's kind of where you live. I don't think plantain actually grows in Florida really well because of the soil, but aloe's awesome. Also, it's for bug bites. It's not as plantain is a drawing plant. It pulls the garbage out. So like the mosquito bites, the bee stings, you know, plantain would be better. But anything for the skin, aloe is perfect for. You should use aloe for everything, you know.
Yes. So let's talk about, aside from plants and obviously the clutter aspect, I think we are all too familiar with how clutter can really it doesn't just clutter up our space, it clutters up everything. So when you work with clients, what have been some of the things that you typically will find? Are there like some of the more common things that you find in working with clients? Like what are some real, I would say, pain points or just common areas that you tend to work with people on?
Something I work with people on all the time, and everybody does it, is you speak, don't you? Everybody speaks. Words. Words are either life or death. And so the words you say, I don't know about you, but when I'm by myself, I talk to myself. I talk to my dog, you know, and you say things out loud, and people don't think about that. They don't think about the words they speak. Well, the words that are coming out of your mouth are either life or death. They're either killing you or they're building you up. So speak life over yourself, over your household, over your animals, over your children. Always, always speak life. And people don't think about, you know, I don't know about you, but I hear people say all the time, oh, this is killing me. What are you saying? What did you just say? You said it's killing me. So what is it doing? It's killing you. You know, whether you believe that or not.
Well, I can remember like mothers and grandmothers constantly talking to plants too, and trying to breathe life into them. And so it sounds like it's the same concept, and it's not just that you're trying to keep a plant alive. I mean, clearly this is about keeping yourself alive and thriving and really coming from, and I'm all about mindset. So it's not just the spoken word, it's what we tell ourselves when we're not even opening our mouths that really makes a life or death situation for us. So I love that you talk out loud, because that just articulates it. And it seems like, too, it would make it pretty obvious to you how the energy that you're coming from. So if you are a person who tends to find themselves talking out loud, you're going to catch what you say. What about for people who don't do that and don't necessarily catch what they say? Do you have solutions for people like that as well? Some of your natural and green living solutions?
You mean other than words?
Mm-hmm.
Positive affirmations, journaling, the written word.
Mm-hmm.
I write
Preach.
I write on the mirror. What do when you get out of the shower, you're looking in the mirror, what do you see? I write affirmations on the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't, there's herbs, there's oils, there's all kinds of stuff you can do to raise your frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about, is raising your frequency. You don't want to have a low frequency, because then you're just bummed out and you're having a bad day, So turn on some happy music, something that really is synergistic with you, makes you happy, listen to that. But written affirmations are very important also. I think it's important to speak the written affirmations, though,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's to yourself or, to the mirror, back at you, it doesn't matter. And if you don't speak out loud, that's fine. Say it in your head. If you're out in public, you don't want to look like some cuckoo, but say it to yourself. Know that you're talking to yourself. There was an experiment, and I don't know how many of you may have seen it, where a guy took 3 containers of rice, just rice in water. Did y'all see that?
Well, you have to give me more. There's tons of experiments.
Well, he put the rice in the water, didn't boil it, didn't cook it, nothing, just rice and water in a container, covered it, to keep the germs and cooties from the air out.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them he spoke ugly things to every day. Hateful, ugly things,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. And sometimes just the little lies we tell ourselves, I'm not good enough. I failed. The next container was separated a little bit, and he spoke love and joy and life over. Just, I love you. You're beautiful. You're awesome. And the third container, he just left. Nothing. No speaking, no nothing. Just left. Within a couple of days, the container he spoke ugly things to started to mold and rot and turn black and get ugly. The container he left sitting, it took, a week or so for it to start
Mm-hmm.
changing and fermenting in the water. And the one he spoke life over to never rotted. And he did this for months on end.
Okay. I've seen it with, so I've seen it with crystals. I've seen it with just plain water, but I hadn't heard of it with the rice. But it's all the same. It's all the same concept.
Yes.
Yeah, it's what we see come to fruition, what we're actually putting out there. Energy is actually tangible, and we can see it in other living things. So,
right.
Yeah, so that is so critical. So everyone usually gets started because there's some need in their life for what they are then meant to learn and teach others. So how did you get started in this, Julie? What was it in your life that made you come to the conclusion one day that you needed a serious change in the way that you were living in your environment?
Wow. Yeah. That's like a huge thing. And for any of you out, I have a video on Facebook, kind of my story type of thing. I got cancer for the first time when I was 30 years old.
Wow.
It was a big deal. And I had been instructed and went to college and learned Western medical stuff. I was an RN at the Children's Hospital for a long time. And so I believed them. I learned that you should believe your doctor, what they tell you, do what they say, things like that. And I did. That has been 17 years ago. And it took up until a couple of years ago to actually get back to where I wasn't in bed most of the time. I've had cancer 3 times in total now. And I had to stop doing what the Western medical world said. Their answer in a pill is not an answer. That is not an answer. You have to change your life. You have to change what you believe. All of us, I don't care if you had the best parents in the world, you've all had trauma as a child. Just little things that happen, your body takes in as trauma and stores. You have to get rid of that. Your body doesn't know how to get rid of it on its own. So you have to do that. And you need to find someone to help you, or, like you said, the internet has so much information, regardless of what your stance is. You need to find someone that can help you weed through that so that you can understand. You need to get rid of the emotional garbage and baggage, and you need to speak life over yourself, and you have to be your own best advocate. You can't rely on some doctor to cure you.
Or a relationship. Or a relationship.
You can't rely on someone else, is what I'm saying. It's you. And, God didn't say, physician, heal thyself. He wasn't talking to the doctors. He wasn't saying, hey, doctor, go out there and heal yourself. He was telling you, look, this is you. You need to, pick up the gauntlet and run with it. You need to do this.
So let's talk about, I know that you said when we were having our conversation before we started recording here, that you have a Facebook page, and that's where you really like for people to connect with you. So I want to make sure we go ahead and get your Facebook link in here. So I've dropped it in. I'm posting it as we speak. It's Julie Sitz Life Naturally. So I have that in there. So anybody who wants to connect with Julie, definitely click her link and connect with her. I think that is really, really important as we learn about what a lot of people in the group are doing. I would love to have people connect outside of the group as well and learn and grow from each other. And if you have a service that other people will find valuable, it's so important that they know how and where to find you. So I love to drop the links in and do that. And so anyway, so that's done. So if anyone has questions at this point, please feel free to drop them in. If you're watching the replay and you aren't able to catch us live, also feel free to drop in questions, because Julie's tagged in the post, and of course she's going to come back. I'll come back as well. And if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. So please feel free to drop them in at any point in time. Even if you come on at the end and we're not able to catch it, just make sure you drop it in. And so if you have a question, she can still answer it at any point in time. So, all right, Julie, what is the one thing that if people were to look at working with you, what is the one thing that you really, really want them to get out of their time with you?
I really want them to understand that they are okay who they are. They need to understand that they're okay. They're not, people get a lot of bad stuff in their head, that they're horrible, that they're not. They need to realize that they're okay, and they can start where they are and just get better.
Yeah. So start where you are. That's a great point with everything, pretty much, because we see a lot of people, especially in the online world, who are trying to start from somebody else's chapter 6 or 7 or 9. And And that's one of the biggest things I see that creates toxicity in our inner talk and in that expectation being really high, and then we're unforgiving of ourselves. And so I'm so glad that you brought that up. I think that's a huge, huge point, that you always have to start where you are, even in green living. And I've seen people who have done challenges, even just decluttering their space, taking one space at a time and just decluttering it piece by piece. And over time, stuff happens. So we just got Laura Lively in here, and she's asking if you're going to be talking about essential oils. So that's a great question. Are you going to be talking about essential oils, Julie?
Yes, I can. Laura, if you contact me, we can do a more in-depth discussion. I don't have a lot of time here. But essential oils are huge in that they come from plants, and God made the plants, and all of our synthetic medications started, they're all made in labs now, but they started as a plant. Like white willow bark, boiled in water is the original aspirin, things like that. And essential oils are just distilled from these plants, and so they're very concentrated. And I keep essential oils with me all the time. I use lavender every day. I prefer copaiba, peppermint. I keep those with me at all times, regardless of where I am.
All right, let's talk about top 3, because a lot of people in this space might not know much about essential oils at all, or anything. I mean, some people I'm sure know nothing. So essential oils are a lot of people are selling them through multi-level marketing companies.
Yes.
And which am I right in that's how you sell yours as well? It's through okay. So now I don't know much about the multi-level marketing sales aspect of it. I personally know a lot about the oils. But if you were to tell someone who doesn't know much about any of it, what would be 3 essential oils that you should consider having without question, kind of non-negotiable in your home, and what they would be used for? What would they be?
Lavender, peppermint, and lemon.
Okay.
I put lemon in my water every day. The thing about essential oils is you really can't overdose. It's not, your body knows what to do with them. And they're also, the essential oils have an intelligence of their own. And your body knows how to synergistically work with them. Lavender is great for the skin. It's very calming. I put it on my skin. I diffuse it. It's an awesome oil to have. It smells great. Some people don't like it, but I love it. I use it every day for all kinds of stuff. I have an after the sun spray. I have, I put it in my lotion. You could just put a few drops in your lotion bottle. The lotion that you use, that don't get me started. That's a whole nother thing about all the chemicals in your lotion. And the peppermint is great for clarity of mind. I just inhale it. You put some on your hands and smell it, or smell it right out of the bottle. Either way, it's good for clarity of mind, for concentration, for picking you up if you're tired. It's also great for digestion. It's kind of a good all around. It's also really good for headaches. Just don't get it in your eyeball. That's a bad thing.
I'm assuming you're speaking from experience here.
Yes, I am, because it gets on your fingers and then it'll stay there. So, girlies, when you're going to the potty and you have peppermint oil on your fingers, be careful with the potty paper, because Lord, peppermint in your hoo-ha, not a good thing. Woo.
It's not like the York peppermint patty commercial where I feel a cool tingly sensation.
You might feel the cool tingly sensation, but yeah, it's kind of intense. Be really careful with the peppermint.
I love that, because I always think I'm the only person with these stories of, oh crap, I probably shouldn't have done that, or that hurt, or that sucked, or whatever. We have all these things that happen to us, throughout our lives, and I personally think that I'm the only one who has these moments of total lapse of intelligence where things happen.
Right.
I just want to thank you for making me feel a little more mainstream right now, Julie. That's awesome. Okay, so that's so those 3 are great. Is there anything, because I only gave you 3, right? So you had to pick 3. Right. But is there anything else that you're thinking, you know what? I know these top 3 are definitely the best, but from a daily living perspective, there's this thing. Did we miss anything?
Oregano. I'm pretty sure, I don't care, oregano essential oil, you can get oregano, the plant, you can use oregano however you choose to use oregano. The essential oil is the main thing, and if you're using the plant, you're getting the essential oil from the plant. Oregano does everything. It can clean the air. It can be an antimicrobial, which means bacteria or viruses.
Wow.
It's a good disinfectant, and it always smells like you're making pizza. So how can that be bad?
Pizza's never bad. I'm sorry. Right. There is no bad in pizza ever, right. Especially if my house can smell like it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, okay, here's a question. What about bugs? Like, ants, is there something that is good for like pest control? Because one of the things that you brought up, and I'm a huge proponent of natural, but sometimes I have my vices that I'm not willing to give up as far as clean or as far as keeping my home free of bugs. What about a natural remedy to keep bugs away? Do you have, and especially because it's summer and everybody's opening their doors and it's, it's bug central all over the place. So what do you have for us from a bug control perspective?
Bug control. I will tell you, if you have peppermint's great. As far as spiders, keep away spiders. Any ants, ants are pretty adverse to peppermint. I make my own bug spray as far as personal, to keep the gnats and mosquitoes and things off of you. I use lemongrass, citronella, stuff like that. And I just spray it on before I go outside, rub it on your ears to keep the gnats out of your ears,
We used to live in the Northeast US, and we had a massive tick problem. And I understand ticks are a huge problem still. And I remember researching a while back before we moved, how to keep them, because I had young kids, and they couldn't go outside in the summer because Lyme disease. We had massive deer tick problem. The playground behind our house, they actually had to bomb. The tick problem was so bad. It's bad. So I remember looking it up, and mint was one of the things actually that they had said to spray your lawn with. And I think it was a lemon and a mint. And so it sounds like that's a pretty good bug spray overall.
Lemon and mint is very good. Yes. I'm not going to say bulletproof, but a really good keep the ticks away. A lot of people are adverse to it, is taking dandelion root. I don't care if you take it in a capsule. I don't care if you have it in a tea. I don't care how you get it, but get it into your system, and the ticks will not, they might crawl on you, but they won't embed into you. They don't like you. You don't smell good anymore.
That doesn't do anything. Is it just ticks, right? It's not like potential partners or relationships, right?
No,
your mom's not going to tell you stink.
Yeah, no. Your mom might tell you stink if you have like lemon and mint oil on you. She's like, honey, really? But yeah, the dandelion root, I think it's only the ticks that can smell it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And garlic. We know the garlic. That'll do it, right? The garlic will eke from your pores. So
the garlic will keep the potential partners away, though.
Yeah. Well, my husband said he believes in garlic too. So I'm thinking you might, maybe he needs to talk to you, Julie.
Garlic is really good. He's very right. Honey and garlic together, set together over time, makes a great cough syrup. It's perfect because garlic's very antimicrobial also.
Oh, that's good to know. I've used just the honey in tea, but not the garlic. I'm learning all kinds of stuff.
Several garlic cloves into the little jar with the honey, and it doesn't really taste as bad as it sounds in your mind. I know it sounds like, but it doesn't taste quite that bad. But don't eat too much garlic, because then it does exude from your pores, and you do kind of smell, worse than pizza.
And there's not enough honey in the world to cover that garlic.
No.
Awesome. So, Julie, is there anything else that you think our viewers and listeners need to hear about more healthy and green living options in their lives?
There's so much, but just what I've told you, and you can do it. People think it's too expensive. People think, it's just too hard. It's not. You can make little tiny changes, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So how do you work with people? They get in touch with you on your Facebook page? Do you have how does it work if someone comes to you?
Yeah, they get in touch with me on my Facebook page. I usually give them my phone number, and then we have a conversation, about what their desires are and where they're at. And we start from there,
I love it. It sounds like it's a very personalized one-on-one approach, and it's specific to everyone who comes to you. So I love that. I think in this world right now, it's such a great option to have to be able to get a very personalized plan from you. Julie, it's been awesome talking to you today. I'm so excited that I feel like I want you to write a book, and so you can give us all of these great remedies, and and put your flair into it. I always tell people they should write a book though, because I am the messenger pusher. So I want everyone to be the major messenger that they were brought here to be, because I believe that everyone has a message inside of them that needs to get out. And I love that we're able to talk on this show and we're able to get your message out even more. And so I would encourage everyone to connect with you who would like to take some better steps in getting more green and healthy living. We can all use a nudge in the right direction, I'm sure. So Julie, I just want to thank you very much for coming on the show today. I want to thank everyone for participating. This was a lot of fun, especially the peppermint stories. I didn't see that happening. So that was fun. It's always interesting. You never know what's going to happen on Feature Friday. So thank you so much. Again, if you have more questions for Julie and you weren't able to catch us live, check it out on the replay, drop your questions in, and we'll come back in and answer them. But in the meantime, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.